Hey everyone, welcome. So if you've been anywhere near the news lately, you've probably noticed that artificial intelligence is literally everywhere. But listen, today we're going way beyond your standard chatbots or image generators. We're diving into how AI is fundamentally supercharging the scientific method itself. We're talking about taking a tool used for basic automation and turning it into a fully fledged autonomous co-scientist. Let's get right into it.
Now, to kick things off, just listen to this quote. It's just dizzying. I've never seen anything like it in my life. That's Dr. Eric Topol, a massive voice in medicine, describing the absolutely unprecedented pace of recent discoveries. He was speaking at a DeepMind forum and basically said, we are officially entering the era of large language life models. You know, discoveries that used to take researchers their entire careers to figure out? Yeah, they're happening in a matter of days now. The sheer velocity of this innovation is completely flipping how research is done right on its head.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with the pace of discovery, then check out AI's impact on biology, weather, and materials. After that, we'll see how it's fixing slow clinical trials, look at the big shift to autonomy, and finally talk about how we actually trust an AI co-scientist.
All right, Section 1, the pace of discovery. Right now, we're seeing scientific output moving at a speed that's basically creating a renaissance in structural biology. I mean, the milestones are packed together so tightly, we're not waiting a decade for a breakthrough anymore. These massive paradigm-shifting models are dropping weekly. For example, just a week ago, the EVO model was published in Science. Then, almost right after, the Human Cell Atlas Foundation model hit Nature, right alongside models mapping the human methylome, which are basically the chemical tags that control our DNA. Deciphering the genome this fast is literally turning structural biology into the new physics of life science.
Moving right along to Section 2, Biology, Weather, and Materials.
To really wrap our heads around the scope of this revolution, we've got to look outside of just biology. AI is basically acting as the ultimate scientific multi-tool right now. It's smashing through historical bottlenecks across some incredibly varied physical sciences. Whether we're trying to decode the building blocks of human life, predicting crazy fluid dynamics for global weather forecasting, or literally inventing brand new compounds in advanced material science, the engine under the hood is exactly the same. AI is scaling up our ability to process massive, wildly complex data sets.
Let's put this into perspective. Historically, if you wanted near-term global weather forecasting, you needed these massive supercomputers churning through complex simulations for days. Now, DeepMind's GraphCast system can make those exact same predictions in literally 1 minute, and it runs on just a single chip. It is an absolutely staggering leap in computational speed. We're taking processes that used to be totally bottlenecked by hardware limits and turning them into near instantaneous results.
But here's the thing. AI doesn't just make things faster, it blows the roof off of what's actually possible. Check this out. Before AI, graph neural networks came along. Human scientists had painstakingly discovered about 30,000 stable inorganic crystals. But when AI got its hands on the data, it found 2.2 million stable inorganic crystals that we didn't even know existed. Think about that. We went from 30,000 to over 2 million, basically overnight.
So, let's ground that massive number in reality. Out of those millions of new crystals, 400,000 candidate materials were actively shared with the scientific community. And why does this matter to you and me? Because these aren't just abstract math equations. They are the direct physical building blocks for our future hardware and energy solutions. Scientists are already using this list to hunt down materials for high-temperature superconductors and radically better batteries. It's like AI just handed us the blueprints for the future of green energy.
Okay, on to Section 3, Fixing Slow Clinical Trials.
Pivoting back to human medicine for a second, let's look at how AI tackles the absolute slowest part of research and development. Look, even if AI helps invent a brilliant miracle drug, running the clinical trials to actually prove it works can take up to a decade. Let's walk through how predictive algorithms are fixing this pipeline. First, you've got scientists writing the clinical protocol. Then AI steps in to leverage massive population health data sets to tweak the demographic parameters. You can literally tell the AI, hey, I want patients aged 30 to 50 who aren't taking these specific interacting meds, and the AI will instantly tell you how that impacts your enrollment rate. It dynamically optimizes the trial design so you actually find the exact patients you need. And historically, just recruiting the right patients for a complex trial could drag on for up to 3 agonizing years. But with AI optimizing all those parameters and pinpointing the right demographic clusters, that recruitment time slashed down to just 6 months.
This is exactly how AI acts as an incredible optimizer for our human processes. It's solving R&D's most notorious bottlenecks and getting life-saving therapies to patients years faster.
It's even taking a swing at the bureaucratic delays that happen after a successful trial. Companies are actually mapping out historical regulatory databases now, which means AI can predict the exact questions authorities, like the FDA, are going to ask. Some pharmaceutical companies are even using AI to draft their massive investigational new drug submissions. That's the critical mountain of paperwork required to start testing on humans. Now, obviously, there's always a human in the loop double-checking everything, but the AI is definitely doing the heavy lifting here.
All right, Section 4, the shift to autonomy.
Now we're shifting gears from AI as just a really good optimization tool to an actual autonomous co-scientist. This is a massive paradigm shift, often called the virtual lab or a lab in a loop. In the old way of doing things, humans had to manually dream up an idea, test it out through trial and error, and analyze the results themselves. But in a virtual lab, AI domain agents are the ones conceiving the hypotheses. They're dictating the experiments, analyzing the data as it comes in, and autonomously learning from the results, all with barely any human supervision.
And this shift is totally shaking up traditional lab culture. Back in the day, a wet lab scientist in a white coat would generate data, then hand it over to a data scientist to analyze it. Now, that hierarchy is flipping entirely. We're starting to see data scientists, the folks who are super users of these computational models, actually stepping up as the lab heads. They're the ones telling the wet lab scientists which physical experiments to run, based completely on what the AI models are suggesting.
We're also seeing this autonomy unleashed in some of the most high-stakes environments you can imagine. Literally right now, AI controllers are being used to autonomously run nuclear fusion reactors. Yeah, nuclear fusion. These systems are dynamically stabilizing incredibly complex, totally chaotic plasma configurations. And the wildest part? The AI isn't just following rules designed by humans. It independently learned how to control the reactor by running through high-fidelity simulations. It is a thrilling, real-world example of AI autonomy in action.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, trusting the AI co-scientist.
Look, while all this acceleration is absolutely amazing, we do need to bridge back to reality for a second. We need strict validation to keep us from falling into blind techno-optimism. Why? Because humans and AI fail in totally different ways. Humans make errors based on slow, manual biases, and we struggle a lot with reproducing exact lab conditions. But AI can suffer from system hallucinations, basically confidently making things up, or it can just fail completely when it's hit with out-of-distribution information that it just wasn't trained on. And that right there is exactly why high-quality, ground truth data and rigorous human oversight aren't just nice to have, they're absolutely mandatory.
So how exactly does the scientific community proactively manage those risks? Well, they rely on rigid validation test sets, like CASP, which stands for the Critical Assessment of Structure Prediction. It's actually pretty brilliant. When scientists discover a new protein structure, they literally deposit it into a vault and hide it from the world. Then, AI models are challenged to predict those hidden structures. Because the true answer is locked away, there's no way for the AI to cheat or overfit its training data. It's just a fantastic, clean way to test if the AI is truly making progress.
But you know, even if we had perfect validation, we always have to remember what drives science in the first place. Fiona H. Marshall, a leader in pharmaceutical research, hit the nail on the head. She said, "I can't imagine a computer being able to have that level of understanding and deep empathy for a person dying of cancer." And she's so right. Empathy and human intent are the irreplaceable core of pharmaceutical development. AI can calculate the best chemical structure all day long, but it takes a human scientist to actually care enough to start the search.
So as AI rapidly achieves this beyond expert-level reasoning and takes on truly autonomous roles in these new virtual labs, what does the human scientist actually become? Are we shifting from being the primary discoverers to instead being the architects of intent, the validators of truth, and the ethical guides of these massively powerful systems? It's a fascinating question, isn't it? As we watch the future of scientific discovery unfold right before our eyes, it's definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.